Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode on the show, Control or Be Controlled, a podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And as always, I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Naron Tillman, a pastor, entrepreneur, author, mindfulness teacher, media strategist, and AI faith tech innovator, whose work explores the intersection of faith, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, identity, and personal transformation. Tillman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, would you prefer I refer to you as Naron or Tillman?
Naron is fine.
Okay, Naron. Okay. All right. So, Naron, I would also like you to introduce yourself to my audience.
My name is Naron Tillman. I'm from New York, born and raised in New York City. I live a little bit outside of the city. I've been doing work in entrepreneurship for over 25 years, ministry for 25 years, 25 years. I just turned 50 last year. I'll be 51 soon. So I've been in business and entrepreneur and spirituality for mostly all of my life, adulthood. And now I'm still doing the work in mindfulness, neuroscience, and AI. I just find it fascinating seeing the synergy between what's happening and all that we have in front of us. We just wrote our book, Awakening I Am, Internal Awareness in an AI Age, and it's talking about that particular journey, and it gives you tools to help you apply today. For those of you who are tech curious, for those of you who are curious about becoming better.
All right. Thank you so much. So, I have some questions here for you, and I
Okay.
would like to get into them. Okay. So, your book is titled Awakening I Am,
Mm-hmm.
Internal Awakening in an AI Age. What does internal awakening mean? And why is it more important than ever?
Well, it's internal awareness, and awareness is the key to any movement. To be aware is to be alive, is to know what direction you want to go. And not just the direction, but you can be aware of where you may be lacking so that you can get the necessary help. So to be aware in this age where there's a lot of noise, as I started to learn about prompting for AI agents, I started to see a synergy between the way that we speak to ourselves and prompt ourselves and the way that the AI is being prompted by us.
All right, thank you so much. So you often say that the quality of your internal prompts shapes the quality of your external results. Can you explain what that means?
Because we can't align to be something that we don't believe that we can ascribe to. My first business was construction. And before we did any work, we had to have a blueprint. But that blueprint was the imagination of the architect within the guidelines of the township. So the town gives you the guidelines to work with, but the architect has the responsibility or has the budget or the know-how to take that blank space and to create something. And then we now have to go in and fulfill that which is on the paper. Well, that's the same way our mind works. If we're not clear, if we don't have a clear picture of where we want to end up at, then we can be tossed and driven by anybody's deciding where we should be. And my job is to help people to find clarity, to become aware of their who they are internally, and then to get them on a path to where they're actually fulfilling that which they have been born to do.
All right. So AI is transforming nearly every industry. How can people embrace AI without losing their own humanity, purpose, or authentic voice?
Well, AI is is a tool, but humanity is the driver. So you don't lose your voice once you identify your voice. I think a huge part of the problem is, and which is why I got into taking prompt and which is now context engineering courses, is because I was going at AI to solve a human problem. The human problem that I ran into, and I was upset with the agent, was I wasn't clear on what it is that I wanted. If the human comes into the relationship with, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or whatever agent that we use, and we're going to be flooded within the next 3 years with so many agents, without clarity of what it is that they desire, then they're going to be pushed to go into this cookie cutter. But when you understand what it is that you desire, whether you're a small entrepreneur, small business owner, entrepreneur, or student, when you come in having an idea of your end result, then the communication becomes clearer. And the more clarity we have in communication, the better the output the agent gives. The agent is only mirroring the human experience. So the better human experience on the other end is what is going to be produced. Now, we will have bad actors, but again, just because someone else is using the technology for bad doesn't make the technology bad.
Okay. So where do faith, neuroscience, and mindfulness intersect? And why do you believe they belong in the same conversation?
The first large language model, and that's what AI is. It's a large language model that intakes information and gives back results. But the first large language model that was ever created was the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where all of our auto-piloted movements exist. You don't have to remind yourself to blink or breathe or move when certain things are going on, because those are pre-programmed within us, except if you have some type of disorder or disability. But there's another part of the subconscious mind where we are programming or being programmed by what we listen to, by our worldviews, religion, childhood. We've input all this information, and that information now carries out in our everyday lives. So if you've been told that you weren't good enough, that may be a seed for self-sabotage. You start rehearsing these languages that were inputted into you. So in neuroscience, it's called neural pathways, where you can now begin to rewire the way that you process. And you rewire the way that you process by prompting. These prompts are messages that we rehearse to ourselves. And the fastest way to rewire may be while we're sleeping, where the conscious mind is resting and the subconscious mind is taking in new inputs. And during those moments, we can change the way we think about ourselves emotionally, physically, financially, relationship-wise, and start giving ourselves positive prompt messages over the negative prompt messages that may have been playing in our as loops in our jukebox all of our lives. So that's called creating a new neural pathway. The neural pathway is the new line of thinking over the old wiring of the way that we thought. And we do that not just through affirmations. Affirmations are good, but really more internally.
Okay. So What are some of the internal habits or thought patterns that quietly keep people stuck?
Well, I know I work with people in person, and I know two words that keep people stuck. Well, there's a bunch of two-word phrases that keep people stuck. One is I can't. Um, when we see a task that may be arduous or maybe out of the realm of our capacity in the moment, we have this default program saying, I can't do that. So if we are accustomed to using that phraseology, then we will never. The second one is I'm trying. I'm trying to get things done. I'm trying to do my laundry. Well, are you trying or are you doing? Is it we'll use the word I'm trying with the phrase I'm trying while we're doing the said task, which means that we have these phrases stuck in our head. When we try to accomplish something, we're constantly chasing after it. We don't want to be in a constant pursuit by trying. We want to actively do. And the last phrase that may keep us stuck is I want. One is a low vibrational phrase, but one that is taught to us from childhood. First thing that they ask us when we go to school is, what do you want to be? Want keeps us desiring, right? I want to be successful. If I just have this wants and needs, I want to be a millionaire. I want to, without having any real direction as to how, then people start to do anything for money because they're trying to satisfy a want. And every time we trying to satisfy a want, the want flees from us to keep us in chase mode. And we can erase and eliminate those phrases by I am. Those powerful words. I am becoming, I am doing. And that's how we close out the gap from I'm trying, I can't, I want, with just two simple words, I am.
All right. So, as both a pastor and an entrepreneur, how do you balance spiritual purpose with building scalable businesses and media platforms?
Well, due to COVID, we've embraced online ministry mainly full time. So in other words, pre-COVID, I had all of the things like the building and the musicians and all of those things. And it's a business, so it's time consuming, and ministry is business, and it can be a bit arduous at times because it's not something that you just do on Sunday. You have to do so much leading into Sunday. And what happened during COVID, I started to look at the amount of people that we were able to reach online, impact online, and it also still not miss a beat in sharing the message, because the message is the most important thing. I'm a musician. I like to sing and all of those things, and all of those fixings are great. And then maybe in one season, another season in my life, we'll be back at that. But I've been able to juggle it because in this season of AI, most of everything, not just AI, the digital season that we live in, I've been able to reach more people digitally and have a more global mindset as it relates to ministry, as opposed to the 1 or 2 mile radius, north, south, east, and west, trying to chase those people to come into a building. So that's been freeing. It's been challenging because, most people still hunger after that connection, that in-person ministry brings. So we have people that service that area. We have people that service the area in which I'm servicing, and we're building community. So we're able to imagine more and to pursue other things. And once those things are in place and thriving, we can start to do everything. So we've, instead of segmenting ministry, entrepreneurship and AI and all those things, we've actually put it all under one umbrella and made this beautiful moët of and that we share with the world. Like, that's how I'm here talking to you today. Hello.
Okay, so we have interviewed countless leaders on the Work in Victory podcast. Tell us one lesson that consistently comes up in conversations about success and transformation.
I've had over 400 interviews, and the one common thread is the people that are really doing it never shied away from the obstacles. They they fought through whatever obstacle was in their way, and they all had variations of obstacles, whether it's health, financial, divorces, bouts with depression. And the second thing I noticed is that when you reach a certain level, the more transparent you become. So when I interview a person, they feel comfortable sharing things that they may not have felt comfortable sharing early in their career, because they realize that the journey that they went through is filled with not just ups and highs, but it's filled with ups and downs. And that's what makes our podcast kind of unique, is we dig for those stories, those punchlines, not because we're trying to make a moment or go viral, but because we want people on the other side to see that, yes, you may see this person over here now thriving, but they too had repossessed cars or businesses shut down and all of the things that happens in the journey.
All right. Tell us, you created an internal awareness assessment. What does it reveal about a person? How can it help them move forward?
So we have our internal awareness assessment is 24 questions that that will help reveal the pattern of thought that you possess. So it's not a doctor, it's not diagnosing you. It's just revealing blind spots that we may have. So the questions are strategically placed so that when the end user give the answers, we can generate and populate a report that doesn't judge, a report that doesn't give psychosomatic language, but it gives observation and gives a level of awareness. Each person that finishes the assessment will be given their own I am statement that is crafted from their answers, and is helpful for them to use these affirmations. They can record them and play them at night, however they want to use them. And we've created an AI agent to accompany the assessment. So you can upload the assessment, put it into our AI agent, and the agent now becomes your personal buddy, so to say, your accountability coach on a day in, day out basis, just to softly remind you or gently remind you of your affirmations, to progress and monitor your progress. We'll say, hey, it's been 6 months. Let's do another assessment to see if these answers changed. And this way you can not just take an assessment and land somewhere and have these answers that may cause us to go chaotic even more. But we also have a component where you can continue to grow and track and trace and to see if the systems that we have put in place are actually viable for transformation. And we believe that they are because we put a lot of time into it.
All right. So here is my final question for you. For someone who feels stuck, uncertain, or disconnected from their purpose, what's the first practical step they can take today?
The first practical step to take is to slow down. Like a lot of times when we feel stuck in purpose, and I'm talking from experience, we can be in the middle of what seems to be successful and still feel stuck and self-sabotage and loaf, right? But when we take the moment to slow down, listen to our self-talk, a lot of times we don't spend time really listening to what we say to ourselves, because that's where it starts at. So for your listeners right now, when you do slow down, one of the things that I want you to do is breathe through your nose, the nostril breathing, and the deep inhalations and the deep exhalations while we're slowing down. And every time the mind tends to shift or to wander away, identify what's pulling at your attention. Is it the bills that you can't pay? Is it something that someone said to you? Because we're built with what they call in neuroscience a negative bias. But for every one negative thought that you may have in that stuck position, think of 2 positive things that counteract where it is that you are at the moment. Like I teach yoga and movement, and I'll give an example. When I'm teaching my seniors, sometimes they may have immobility in the arm or on a knee. They had knee replacements or hip replacements. And they were like, I can't kick my leg up. And we teach, kick as high as you can. And instead of saying, I can't kick my leg, be grateful for the height that you can get the leg up and be consistent. And through gratitude and consistency and being and moving from small micro movements, eventually when you keep coming back and you keep trying and you keep doing it every day, or you're not trying and you're actively doing every day, you'll see progress. In order to see progress, you have to start. But start by slowing down. Don't add more onto your plate because you're going to overwhelm yourself. Be grateful for where you are. Slow down. Take a few moments to enjoy the flowers. And then you'll find your purpose, because your purpose is living within you, not without.
All right. Thank you so much, Naron. Thank you for such an insightful conversation. In a world filled with endless information and constant distraction, you have reminded us that lasting transformation doesn't begin with better technology. It begins with greater awareness of who we are and the internal stories that shape our lives. So for those who would like to connect with you and learn more about your book, who you are, how can they do that?
All of our information is on walkinvictory.me, walkinvictory.me. If you are social handles or any of that, they're all at the footer, or my name. If you just Google, or if you're on Facebook, it's Walk in Victory or Naron Tillman. On Instagram is Walk in Victory Podcast or Naron Tillman. On LinkedIn is Naron Tillman. So I'm easy to find, and I really do want to hear from you. And if there's any way that we can continue to build and help you grow, we're here to do that, because that's our job, to provide clarity to people.
All right. Thank you so much. So, thank you to all my listeners as well for tuning in today on this very special episode. So, if this episode is speaking to you, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who wants to lead with greater clarity, purpose, and intention. So, Neron, thank you so much for coming to Control or Be Controlled.
Thank you for having me, Darlington. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. And to all my listeners, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the real reason why we're always doing this. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and make sure you make good use of this very episode. So until next time again, I'll see you guys. Remember, take control of your life or something else will. Bye guys. Thank you, Neron.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, Neron, don't forget to back episode that's coming.